My presentation is on thinking about buying an automobile. What are some of the common preconceptions that we have in regards to specific auto brands, and really how the automobile industry is moving towards a homogenization of sorts. Say you are in the market for a new car for whatever reason. Hopefully not this reason, but it makes for a good example. Car's broken down, you've been in an accident. What kind of car do you want? And this is normally when you start the thinking process. There are lots of different makes and models out there, so where do you start? The issue with the makes and models currently is that there are a whole lot of preconceptions. Like Ford, for example, has a whole lot of acronyms. Found on road dead. This is definitely one of the nicer ones. It's also perceived as like a cheap and economic vehicle, like a working man's vehicle, essentially, the blue collar guy. But it couldn't be further from the truth nowadays. Nowadays, well, just take a look here. That doesn't exactly look like an inexpensive vehicle, and it's not. These vehicles can reach $40,000 and $50,000, chock full of all kinds of technology. So this isn't necessarily a true preconception. It's more or less something that we have learned to really take on when we're young. You can't kill a Honda. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. In the 90s, the Hondas were very prevalent for being very hard-working vehicles, better than the American brands by far. And we've all seen Meet Joe in his commercials as of late as he hit 1 million miles on his Honda. But you don't often hear about the American-made brands in the 90s. They're obviously doing much better now, that still were able to hit 100,000 to 200,000 miles, far before most people even, or long after, most people have already traded in their vehicles. Another good example of auto brands that people have misconceptions about are Buicks. And I love this meme, as well as the old lady behind the wheel. They're only for old people. They drive comfortable, but they're for old people, and they're typically very ugly. Again, could not be further from the truth today. This is a preconception that most people still adapt, still think of until they actually come into a Buick dealership. 2013 Buick Enclave. Beautiful vehicle, sharp lines, a lot of standard technology. Yes, it is actually one of the things that I sell. Does this look like something an old person would drive? Furthermore, I've got other vehicles in the Buick line that are definitely tailored not towards the older crowd. For example, the 2012 Buick Regal Grand Sport. 270 horsepower, twin turbo. Not exactly something you would see your great-grandmother driving, and more younger people today are buying these vehicles. These are preconceptions that we have adapted through our parents, our great-grandparents, etc. This is a big one. Kias and Hyundais. They're seen as the poor person's Japanese vehicle. Worst warranty in the business, terrible economic vehicles that just don't hold up worth a darn. Now it is the complete opposite. They are sharp, sleek, and actually boast one of the best warranties in the business. The Kia Optima is one of the best-selling vehicles on the market today. It comes with 3 different engine types, a ton of standard technology, and is still priced well below most of the competitors and gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. And that is the longest warranty out of any automaker out there right now. The Hyundai Genesis, a coupe, ridiculously good-looking vehicle. It's not something that you would expect to be a Hyundai if you did not see the Hyundai tag. And of course, to make matters worse, this isn't even the most expensive vehicle that a Hyundai has. They've also got the Honda Equus. This vehicle starts at $70,000 and is very regularly compared to a Rolls-Royce. A little ridiculous perhaps, but with all of the things that comes with this vehicle, again, you would not expect this to be a Hyundai if you did not know any better. Just another example. But let's stop. Why do we think this way? We're constantly thinking about how things were in the past. Most older people today don't even know how to work Bluetooth, so why are we listening to them and basing our perceptions off of what we're told when technology is only getting better and better every day? I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. This isn't exactly a vehicle out today, but this is a concept of what the vehicles could look like 10, 15 years from now. That obviously looks nothing like even a current model Mercedes. So why base our previous models off of what they look like today. Homogenization. Everything's moving towards the same thing. Everyone's got the safest. Everyone's got the most of this. Everyone's got the most standard of that. Who's got the safest SUV? There are 10 different SUVs if you do a Google image search. So who's really got the safest? Well, which of the vehicles have traction control and StabiliTrak? All of them. Traction control and StabiliTrak keeps the wheels on the ground spinning in the right direction, all at the same speed, and ABS brakes, which used to be a standard for only one model, are now standard for every model of every make. Every single vehicle has these features now. Every single vehicle has the most airbags. Every single vehicle has double laminated windshield glass that is tempered at a few hundred degrees, where it is a couple of layers of glass as well as a special layer on the inside. Everyone's got them. So why would we base our conceptions off of previous technology? So what does this all really mean? If you're in the market for an automobile, you really need to stop and ask yourself, what is it I'm looking for specifically? Take the brands out of the equation and ask yourself, is having this for this at this amount of dollar finance the most important thing to me? Sites like Edmunds, Cars.com, Kelley Blue Book, and of course your personal opinion, which comes into play with your preference of color and how they look, is all very important. So sit down, think about what's really important to you, and then do your research. I promise you won't be disappointed.